Welcome to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for spirit travel and Magic the Gathering. On this episode, it's the holiday season, ladies and gentlemen. I got a special guest in the house, and we're talking Elves and Legacy. Also, the shout-out section, where I'm looking for the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. Are you excited? Because I am. So let's get this thing started, shall we? Let's go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on this episode. I am your host, Dwight, a.k.a. D Blanco, a medium that wears an extra, extra large. You can reach out to me on Twitter at MTG Ectoplasm, or you can email me directly at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. Let me know how am I doing. Am I doing a good job, a bad job, or I shouldn't quit my day job? And then finally, mtgectoplasm.com, where I post the latest and greatest episodes. And if you want to donate or sponsor an episode like this one, you can do that there. Now, like I ask each and every single episode, I implore, wherever you see a link to like follow, like, or subscribe, hit that thing for me, because it's not costing you anything just to listen to the episode, and tell your friends and family about the show, because I guarantee you, if they like Magic, they're gonna like the show. If they like spirit content, hell, they'll really like this show. Now, this episode is brought to you by Top Deck Gaming. They're based out of here in New Jersey. I wish I had more of their content in front of me. I'll definitely bring it up a little bit later throughout the episode, but this is a card shop based in like near Cherry Hill. They're a great little amazing spot, and you may also know them as Card Titan. This is an up-and-coming Star City game type of store. I'm telling you, cardtitan.com. Check them out. They're amazing. Now, with that being said, all the pleasantries, all the homework, everything's done. Now, you see me with my Christmas shirt on. It's now time to bring this individual on. I had him on previously earlier in the year because he took spirits with a 5-0 in Legacy. Are you kidding me? Now, I had to bring him on because he is an aficionado. He's extremely proficient. I love his name. He's a friend of the show. The one, the only, Testacular. How you doing there, pal?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing, Dwight?
I'm doing well there, my friend. Now, for those who want to know, you can reach Testacular at Testacular7 on Twitter, and also Testacular MTGO on Twitch. He does his live streamings, I believe, on Sundays, right?
Yeah, usually Sunday for the Legacy Challenge.
See, look at this. See, I remember my man. Look, and he's extremely proficient. He does the little Guitar Hero in between, which I did enjoy that one stream that you did.
Yeah, that's a little go-betweener we have. Still working out the kinks on like what to do between rounds, but working it out.
Go. Now, how's everything been in Portland, Oregon way?
Oh man, it's been pretty good. Getting darker earlier, and just living the day-to-day grind and playing Magic cards in the meantime. So
Well, over here in the Northeast, we've been extremely spoiled. It's been 50 plus degrees. Thank God for global warming. But how's it over here? And is it any snow on that side, or not yet?
No snow. We've seen quite a bit of rain and like 40-ish degrees, usually 50-ish degrees, something like that. So yeah, it's getting colder, but not
right.
frosty.
So let me begin by saying happy holidays. I don't know if you celebrate the year with the holidays, but I just want to send that pleasantries out to you.
Yeah, happy holidays to you as well and everyone out there.
Well, let's begin with some questions that I have for you. And if the audience wants to join in after we finish segment number 1, I'll allow them to 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, depending on how well the show goes. Let the man join in with some questions. My first question I have for you is, how long have you been playing elves, and what drove you to want to play elves?
Yeah, so I have been playing Elves since late 2013. I had only discovered the Legacy format in 2012, and I went through a few different decks before getting to Elves. The deck I started with was Stoneblade because I was raised in a Cobblade standard world, and I knew how Stoneforge Mystic and Jace the Mind Sculptor worked very well together, and
Right.
those kinds of cards. And then I eventually moved to like a bug, pernicious deed, creatureless control because I decided I wanted to do because I found out what pernicious deed did and I wanted to be all about that for a
I don't
while.
blame you. I don't blame you one
And
bit.
yeah, that was fun. And then I wanted to get it more aggressive, and GP Denver had just happened, and we decided to build Jund, and I built Jund off that. And then hard times hit. I went and got unemployed. I was unemployed for a little bit, so I had to sell out of Magic cards. You know what happens
Right. It
from
happens to
time to
everybody.
time. But I got a job, and once I bounced back, I decided I wanted to dedicate myself to something more degenerate, and something with like something niche, and like I wanted to master something, and so I kind of blindly threw myself at elves, like knowing like at a core level kind of how the deck work. And as I played more and more games, man, I just fell more and more in love with the deck, finding these little ways to close out games that I didn't think were winnable and things like that. And Elves has just had my heart ever since. So I've just repetitions.
No, I hear you. So, like I said in the very beginning, I found you because the fact that you took spirits out there and you started kicking ass, and then you surprised me and my special guest Peter Valco at the time about how you played, and to me, watching you play elves, it's like watching Picasso paint. It's very beautiful. It's very unique, and I enjoy you playing the deck. Now, let me ask you, what does the deck like? Why does this deck? Why does elves stand out so much in Legacy?
Um, so Elves is very special because at its core, it's a combo deck that can win out of nowhere and just just take you down in that turn. But it also gets to rely on a damage plan in the event that you're not comboing out. So every turn you're dealing, I don't know, between 2 and 6 damage, and like that's still good enough to close a game like over time just through creature damage if you don't get the Craterhoof Behemoth or the Glimpse of Nature Chain. And then you're sitting in these grindy positions. It's like turn 12 or something, and you top deck a Glimpse of Nature, and all of a sudden your game plan is insane while your opponents like run down on nothing as well. And you're like, Glimpse of Nature, one creature, and it turns into a million creatures, and then all of a sudden you've won the game out of nowhere. And so like it is so special in having multiple axes to just win win the game. So yeah.
No, I hear you. What makes this tribal deck different from all the others? Out of curiosity, because I mean, you got to consider, you have spirits, you have merfolk, you have goblins. I mean, I guarantee there's a lot of tribal decks, especially that are out there. What is that? What makes this one special compared to the other tribes in Legacy?
Well, yeah, other tribes, they just win by damage purely. Like they just win by doing massive amounts of damage pretty early on, with like merfolk doing it by lord buildup, goblins doing it by getting a bunch of creature tokens out and closing games with like Sling Gang Lieutenant and Pashalik Mons and things like that. And then spirits as well, they just got to win by swinging in the air, like while deterring their opponent from doing specific things. um and elves is, while it can win by damage, it just also has that combo, like that either I win by natural order or I win by glimpse chain. The only deck that can really compare to killing you in one turn as far as a tribal deck goes would be goblins, because of like a Muxus, like a good Muxus can do it, and like again, Sling Gang, Pashlik Mons, like you can get 20 plus damage in one turn, but Elves is just really good at doing that. aside from winning from damage over time like other tribal decks. So
All right. Well, let me begin by saying thank you for Douglas Rosa from Brazil. He's watching the show. He's one of the gentlemen that I had on my show because he did exceptionally well with uh, Zoria Spirits out in Brazil. Him and his team, Manamax. And I will be bringing him up. He actually assisted with the show breakdown for me because I'm not that familiar with Legacy, but I'm really strong over in Modern and Pioneer, obviously.
right on.
So let me ask you, what does it take to master this deck? Like for novices or intermediate players, is it like something that you can pick up right away, or is this something that you have to? It's like a fine wine. You have to take your time and marinate.
I would say the biggest thing that'll help you get far is just repetitions and paying attention to creature triggers. Every creature serves a very is a well oiled part of a machine, like you need to know what your symbiotes are doing, what your querying rangers are doing, and and you just need to understand the best sequencing lines through repetition. For instance, always play a shepherd before you play a symbiote because your symbiote will be uncounterable, and then once your symbiote resolves, your shepherd is bulletproof to a lightning bolt or a swords to plowshares. Um, so I mean, just playing as many matches as you can so you can learn proper sequencing and know and remember all your triggers and all that good stuff. And if you make mistakes, and you will make mistakes, let that burn. Let that burn in your brain. Feel physical pain over it. I don't know. I let my mistakes burn me so bad so I never make them again.
No, I hear you. So, what I my family has taught me as a kid growing up is that it's great to learn from your mistakes, but it's always better to learn from other people's mistakes. So that's why I enjoy people like you, or now, and soon to be me, where we put content creation out there, so the other people out there in Magic World, right? Like this is a global game, so it gives us an opportunity for us to make the mistakes, and then people can learn from it and grow and prosper and be better players. Because
Exactly.
I mean, you're an elf guy, I'm a spirit guy. I mean, that's why I have these guys sitting behind me, right? So with that being said, it's like we want our tribes, we want our group, we to move forward. If we gotta fail, let's fail forward, not backward. So,
Exactly.
I enjoy the honesty from you because it's like it's refreshing because we have a lot of us tend to be like very arrogant and cocky. Go, oh no, 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 no! I don't make any mistakes. No, it's cool. We're human, and mistakes are great, and especially when other people make it and don't point at you, going, moron."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love it though. I love it when people call me out on my mistakes and wanna be like, "Oh, I got you, moron." I laugh at that and I'm just like, "Yeah, it happens."
Well, look at this. Douglas Rosa chimed in. I made 5-0 Legacy League with White Blue Spirits yesterday as well. Look at that. Well,
Wow.
spirits is doing well. Don't worry, Douglas. We're getting to the spirits shortly. All right. Yeah, I know you're in the Christmas spirit. Dun. But let's keep on going. What are some of the key cards in elves and why? What are certain the key cards that, as spirit, as people who observe spirits, we should be worried or cognizant about? So we go, we got to deal with this thing.
Yeah, some really key cards. First of all, Glimpse of Nature. It is the start to all mayhem. You want to have this card in your sights when it comes to holding a counter spell for something or holding a spell queller effect for something. Um, and Green Sun Zenith is also just absolutely bonkers card because it turns into anything that I need, any piece that I'm missing, and shuffles back in for multiple uses. And then Allosaurus Shepherd being probably one of the big key players recently. Like, making everything uncounterable is absolutely unreasonable. That shuts down part of your interaction as spirits, unfortunately. Like with your Mausoleum Wanderers, Force of Wills, and whatever may have. Now, the cool thing is, Spell Queller actually does get around Allosaurus Shepherd. So if you are
Mm-hmm.
playing Spell Queller, you still get to hold it up in the face of Shepherd against cards like Glimpse of Nature,
Well,
or
it's right
Natural
there on the
Order.
screen for the people who aren't aware. It's Allosaurus is a green, an elf shaman, 1/1. Allosaurus Shepherd can't be countered. Green spells you control can't be countered. For blue players like myself, that really sucks. But let's read on. 4 generic, 2 green. Until end of turn, elf creatures you control have the base power and toughness of 5/5 and become a dinosaur in addition to its other creature types. That's stupid good. And
Yeah,
how is that even legal for a 1 mana creature?
I have no idea. I remember waking up and somebody tagged me in a Facebook group about this card, and I read it, and I read it again, and I read it again, and I just, like, every time I read it, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, we are just getting an insane gift, to be able to, like, be pushed up as far as we are in, like, the competitive tier list of legacy decks now. So
Now, to me, it's stupid. Like humans have the champion of the parish now. The what you call the zombies now have champion of the perished. And you guys get this. Red has Ragavan. What do blue players like myself? Where's the spirit? Yeah, everybody points at the mausoleum wanderer, but
yeah, you don't really have a strong blue one drop spirit, unfortunately, outside. Like, Wander is sweet, don't get me wrong, but yeah, unfortunately, Spectral Sailor is your next best bet.
oh, and then it's killing. He's like, well, what the blank around and turn my crew into dinosaurs. Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, we're elves. Yeah, now we're dinosaurs. Like what's going on here? Like,
That comment does come from one of my close friends, by the way. Shout out to Aiden for tuning in. Thank
okay,
you.
well, thank you, Aiden, for watching and supporting Testacular and myself today. And don't forget to hit that follow, like, subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. So, any other key cards that we as Magic players should consider?
Natural order, of course, as well, being just an I win button right on the spot to counter as well. And then finally, the engine that is probably scariest out of the deck is Wirewood Symbiote and Elvish Visionary. Being able to return Visionary and recast it pretty easily with the tons of mana that Elves makes gets a lot of cards drawn and a lot more threat density back in our hand when we're like recovering. So it's a scary. We call it among Elves players. We call it the best friends forever combo.
And
Wirewood
there it is,
Symbiote
Wirewood
and
Sambia. It's
Elvish
a
Visionary.
it's a 1 green 1/1 insect. Return an elf you control to its owner's hand. Untap creature. Activate this ability once a turn. Thank God it's only once a turn.
Yeah, thank God, right? But also, it can be activated on your opponent's turn, which is very key. If you're going to shoot a removal spell at something and there's a Wirewood Symbiote on the table, the symbiote takes precedence over everything else. Because if you fire it off at an elf, we're just going to return the elf in response.
It's so stupid that it's like an instant.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Mm.
Some people are playing Usher in Legacy, but the meth card compared to Shepherd. I hear you. I hear you.
Usher of the Fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all right.
Also, you're not a fan of the Usher.
I don't know. Like, it seems like an interesting mana sink. I found when I was playing spirits a lot in Legacy, at least. I wanted to use my mana to do other things besides make a 1/1 spirit token off an attack trigger, I think.
No, I hear you. I hear that. Now, let me ask you. I know your deck has maybe a money card or two. I know that Allosaurus Shepherd. Let me just tell you, it hurts the wallet.
It's not as bad as it used to be. It started at
No,
90,
no,
and nowadays it's 60. So it's not
yeah,
too bad.
okay, Pinocchio. Look, I know this card is ridiculously expensive. What other card would you say matches that, especially like if you were to make a budget cut, you know, you know.
So yeah, I was looking at this, and in 2014, when I went to Grand Prix, New Jersey, I registered a list with 3 Gaia's Cradle and 1 crop rotation. A
Oof.
crop rotation can make up for a 4th Cradle to some degree. I wouldn't do it these days, but in 2014 I did that, and that was the first Legacy GP that I day two'd.
Okay.
So I was pretty happy with my performance in that, but yeah, that's as far as budget options go, these cards are really specific in the engine it creates and the way it wins so efficiently. Like you could definitely play things like, I don't know, maybe Priests of Titania over Gaia's Cradles. Um Allosaurus Shepherd is just so irreplaceable.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to make budget options and still have
I mean,
like
it's legacy. There's no, but it's like I'm trying to look the new guy. Like I want to get into this format, and the next thing I'm like, yeah, do yourself a favor, look at Savannah and Bayou, and then look at Gaia's Cradle, and then come back to me. It's
yeah.
like, I mean, fortunately, I don't want to be that guy, but I will be that guy. Unfortunately, yeah, there's no boo sheet when I'm telling you this. Thank God I started Magic back early, when just before Mercadian Mass started. And I collected Gaia's Cradles because people were like, oh, this card's okay. It's meh. I have 8, and I'm like, thank you, sweet baby Jesus, for allowing me to think, I like, let me collect this card because now it's like, woohoo, like I hit the lottery.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody
Oh,
could have seen it coming though from that time, but it happened.
Oh, I was smart enough. I was fortunate enough to go like I saw Moat and I was like, Moat's a $35 card. Let me just pick up, a play set. Just,
Just
I
in
have
case.
I have extra income. I'm making money. It's like my first real good job. I'll pick up a play set of Moat for $35 a piece. Now looking at it, I'm like, yay,
Yeah.
investment. Who would have ever thought a game that I enjoy playing would have, yeah, it's a collector card game. Stupid me, the collector card, but it's a game, and I'm like, oh, it's not gonna be worth that much. But
Yeah.
yay! No, my wife is looking at me, the engineer of the show, the Ravishing Renata. She's like, yep, he's gonna sell something. I'm gonna get a good Christmas present.
You owe it to her now.
Yeah, she just had her surgery, so she's doing exceptionally well. So, yeah, I
Good.
might have to get her something extra special this year. So let me ask you, what style of spirits is the most troubling for you to play against? I know spirits is, you know, near the bottom. It's not really one of the top tier decks out there, but I'm assuming you do see them once in a while. Which flavor bothers you the most, the Azorius or the Bant style?
So to be completely honest, yeah, I am having struggling like trying to figure out the exact differences between the flavors and like what they play. If I had to guess though, like just looking at it from the outside, blue white is probably scarier because they have more like they probably have more in their sideboard that could defeat me versus like bant cards where like green's not really an effective color versus me, but like having good like blue and white options such as like meddling mage, containment priest, swords to plowshares, extra removal spells, all that good stuff, and probably more spirits of the labyrinth or something in the main deck. I have to assume blue white would probably be better positioned against me than Bant,
Okay,
and
does
probably the one I'd be more scared to see.
All right, yeah, because what happens is Azorius tends to be more of the interactive play where we wait for our opponent to take a certain position and counteract against it, while Bant eh, can do some of that, but because of collected company, we tend to vomit out creatures exceptionally quickly. Not as quickly as elves because of all the wonderful, mana shenanigans that elves do. But thank God, thank for the the Azorius where we can counter. Thank God for my man Spell Queller, and we can
Yeah.
deal issues, especially with Skyclave apparition, to remove your little creatures off the board. So, I'm happy about that. No, I'm actually, I was actually surprised. I actually thought that you would say Bants because the fact that they tend to get the spirits out, and because they fly, we tend to sort over the elf.
Yeah, so Bant definitely puts the pressure on, right? Like it does a good job. It does a good job of vomiting creatures out and getting the damage over, and that can actually like win you games against elves because sometimes all we need is a little bit of time before we can absolutely take over and win the game. So they do have that advantage going on for them, but if we just have too fast of a start, if we just put down a turn two like progenitus, like what are you gonna do about that? That you definitely want your interaction if I
Yeah,
like try to get cute and go for things early, you know what I mean?
yeah, Trigenitus. Yeah,
Progenitus, our
Eesh,
our friend,
eesh.
the soul of the world has returned
No,
to
no, he's
flavor
nobody.
text.
He's nobody's friend. He protection from everything. He's nobody's friend. He's everybody's enemy. Let's be quite honest and sincere with one another.
Even protection from me, the
He,
owner of the
yeah,
card?
protection from everything. It's like, why, Wizards? Why did you create, like, look, between you and I, we know true name nemesis. Why, Watsy? Why?
Why?
It's like,
Why?
oh,
Yeah.
my opponent, like, I have to say his name. I don't know. What is your name? Philip, Jacob, Hank? What is your name? I say you, right? No, this thing has protection from everything.
Everything.
It's wrong. Not no. Like how do you, unless like it has to be an extreme board wipe. It Yeah, like that's the only way to get it. Just an extreme board wipe.
Yeah, something like a Supreme Verdict, Terminus. It can die to Tabernacle, but I'm gonna pay for it.
Mm,
Probably. So,
you think? Well, you
yeah.
have elves. Of course you will.
Of course.
So let me ask you, which spirit cards cause elves the most problems?
So right off the bat, I'm gonna say Skyclave Apparition is probably one of your best cards against me because it just auto exiles whatever forever. Um, then from there, Spell Queller because it does get around the text on Allosaurus Shepherd in being able to trap up some of the spells. And then Mausoleum Wanderer, while it may not always be active because of Allosaurus Shepherd, there could be key moments early in the game where I try to glimpse without a Shepherd on table, or Greenson Zenith for something without Shepherd on table that you can still nab that up. And then Swords to Plowshares, as far as non-creature spells go, that Spirits tends to play. Great card against me. And then situationally, Force of Will, depending on Allosaurus Shepherd status. So,
Okay.
yep.
Now, Douglas Rosa just timed in. Council's judgment can deal with progenitus. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it
it
can.
can.
Yeah, thank God. I'm actually looking at his deck list, and I don't see Council's judgment, Douglas. I don't see it. What happened here? I'm looking at your deck list.
Where's the council's
Where's
judgment?
the Council's judgment, pal? I don't want to say that he is actually making me a spirit token and like a 3D model. Oh yeah, with
Ooh.
MTG Ectoplasm on the back. Oh, thing looks badass. I can't wait to get to get the
Wow.
thing, the thing, so I can find a 3D artist to print it for me, and then be like, "Woo! I got my own personal
That's
3D printed token."
that sounds nice.
Oh, dude, you have to see it. It's super sexy. I'll send you an image after the show. Now, let me ask you, how many spirit Let me retry.
Yeah, no
How
worries.
would a spear player? You played spirits.
Yes.
What is the best way you would take spirits and play against elves?
So the best way to do this is to have early interaction. Make sure that you keep a hand that has things like swords to plowshares, mausoleum wanderer, maybe a skyclave apparition or a spell queller, and then if you can g- get a spirit of the labyrinth down as soon as possible. If you're playing the main deck or however the lists are constructed these days, uh and kill everything that you can with plows and apparitions. Just try to keep the board small while keeping like uh maybe a turn one mausoleum wanderer over time doing damage or something like that. And just make sure that you can keep my resources as small as possible while also like holding up your counter magic for glimpse of nature, and prioritize shepherd whenever possible as far as removing so you can have more action from your force of wills and wanderers as well. So kill everything up front immediately and hold your counter for scary stuff, and pray pray
I
that you
mean,
get through the night.
elves is just pure scary stuff. I don't like elves. Like if I played legacy against legacy elves, I'd be like that one guy in that video flipping the table, yelling at the other guy, not caring if my cards fly. He's like, "Get out of here with that crap, freaking elves." That's just me. I'm just that guy. So let me ask you, what cards should players, spear players like myself, consider to use against elves?
So I think you're referring to sideboard cards here,
Sideboards,
right? Yeah,
sideboards.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Containment Priest, Ethersworn Canonist, Grafdigger's Cage, Damping Sphere, more removal like Path to Exile, Meddling Mage. These are all cards that I definitely have played in Elves before and would bring in against me in a heartbeat, because they definitely just throw a bunch of wrenches in the gears, basically, and makes my life harder because I will have to find something like Assassin's Trophy to answer these things. And also, I have to answer your main deck stuff like Spirit of the Labyrinth still, or Skyclave Apparition. Well, I mean, I can't really do anything when Skyclave Apparition resolves, let's be realistic, but you know, uh, there's just adding more stuff for me to like have to deal with to get by. So,
Douglas Rosa is killing me. The gentleman from Brazil. He goes, the only good elf is a dead elf.
well, that's not very holidaysy of
No,
you.
or
Come on.
someone's gonna get some coal in their stocking this year. And knowing him, he knows how to cook good Brazilian meat, so he's gonna probably use that coal to you know cook some good meat with. And so it's like a win-win for him, no matter how it happens.
Yeah, right.
Now, Douglas Rosa, speaking of Douglas Rosa of Metamox, suggests creature destruction early, like you said, and spirit interaction to build a fighting force. Uh, you know, how true, like you brought it up yourself. Is there any other way? Like, is that the only true way, like he discussed and you discussed?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only way it's got to happen. You don't want to be sitting there doing nothing otherwise. And like, if your cards are not lining up to interact with mine and you're just throwing out a couple of flyers and then doing a couple of damage to me over a turn and then you lose to a natural order or a glimpse of nature, that doesn't feel good. So yeah, I mean, kind of like you put it, just make sure that you have early pressure and make sure that you have a lot of answers or proactive things like Ethersworn Canonist, or Grafdigger's Cage to do, so that I have to fumble around and buy you enough time to deal enough damage to me.
Well, let me ask you like a side question, because I guarantee there's some people here who love Legacy, and they may ask, okay, enough of the spirit talk. Let me know more about elves. What are the good matchups and bad matchups of them?
Yeah, elves, man. It's come such a long way recently. A lot of like the good matchups are your blue like control decks, like the Bant control piles, the four color piles that are splashing for expressive iteration, and because I mean, Allosaurus Shepherd turns off like half their interaction, and then Wirewood Symbiote does a good job of protecting your guys. And then since they play a slow game plan anyway, you just kind of chew through their early removal and everything, get them to a place where they don't really have cards anymore, and then slowly build your board back up with like Symbiote and Visionary, and then all of a sudden you have a bunch of cards in hand, and then you're like winning the game through a Glimpse of Nature or a Natural Order. And yeah, like and then a great matchup as well as D&T, because D&T can only really interact with like Swords of Plowshares, maybe Wasteland of Cradle here or there. Uh and you just kind of get to be like, Glimpse of Nature goes unchecked. Great. Like, here's a bunch of creatures, you lose the game. And then the bad matchups are like combo decks that are inherently faster than us, like Oops All Spells, Reanimator. Even though we have like endurance to fight back, those matchups are pretty scary. Lands is not a good matchup. I hate Going to Church, which is Tabernacle. I hate that card with a burning passion, and I just like, whenever it comes down on turn one, or whenever my opponents crop rotate for it because they're like, hey, I'm up against Testacular, he's playing elves. Uh, I just like frown, and I'm gonna have the worst time trying to play around it. And sometimes I do play around it. Sometimes I win, but like a lot of times I just like take the L after like fighting for 5 or 6 turns to get around a stupid Tabernacle. And as far as Blue Red Delver goes, it really depends on like if you win the die roll, because like that deck on the play is just kind of hard to deal with. But we also like get the luxury of playing 4 endurance these days, and endurance is an absolute beating against that deck. So I don't know. That's kind of how it all lines up. But as long as these blue decks keep running around, man, I'm having a great time.
Well, this is now where I asked, the listening audience, if you got any questions, I'll throw them out there to us. I want to say this segment is brought to you by Top Deck Games. Your address is 55 Haddon Avenue in Haddon Township, New Jersey. Let me just tell you, this is a great group. Frank, you have Miles out there, your entire stuff. Christmas season is here. So if you're looking Top Deck, just tabletop games, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, Star Wars, whatever you're into, they got it there. I'm telling you, and they're upsizing their store. So my suggestion, go out there. You can also, if you're looking for Magic cards, the name is cardtitan.com. This is an upcoming, like soon to be like top 10 Magic store. So keep an eye out on them. Cardtitan.com, but this is Top Tech Games, supporting this segment number one. Now, let me see what questions we have here for us. And question is, what? How would you sideboard against spirits? Oh, that's a very good one.
That's a good question. Yeah. So my sideboard right now, just so you understand where I'm at, has 4 Thoughtseizes, 4 Assassin's Trophies, 4 Endurances, 1 copy of Collector Roofy, 1 copy of Progenitus, and 2 copies of Force of Vigor. Oh wait, no, 3 copies of Endurance. One is in the main board. 1 Collector Roofy, 1 Progenitus, 2 Force of Vigor. So what I would do against spirits is I would bring in the Progenitus over the main deck Archon of Valor's Reach that I have in there, because Progenitus is just going to be a better natural order target to get to early. And then Assassin's Trophy is going to come in over things like the Endurance that's in there. Or actually, I don't know. I haven't tested much post endurance with spirits, but maybe that card's totally fine and to leave in. But maybe the grist and a couple of like elves, like a Nettle Sentinel and a Heritage Druid, and I'd have the Assassin's Trophies in there to blow up key permanents that are causing me problems. So those are the 5 cards that I would bring in.
Okay. Now we have another question here. It's from Call of Duty. How do you play against Murktide?
So against Murktide, we bring in the remaining 3 copies of Endurance and the 4 copies of Assassin's Trophy, and we take out all of the natural orders and the Archon because natural order is too like high of a liability to get countered, and it costs us sacrificing a creature on top. So Force of Will becomes kind of a 1-for-1, and Daze is also extremely bad. So natural orders, the Archon comes out, and then a couple of mana elves from there, Heritage Druid and Birchwell Rangers, those kinds of creatures, because uh, yeah, those are the ones that usually just come out because you only need one of them in your engine at any time, and you can just green sun for the one that you need on the combo turn. So yeah, we go a lot less combo, unless it's through Glimpse of Nature, and win through like Endurance Beatdown and locking out like the Murktide Regents and the Dragon's Rage Channelers. So
All right. Let's see. What did Douglas? I saw Douglas Rosa bring up. So endurance is good against us. Unfortunately, youth is taking out force of will and days is good against elves. Okay.
take taking out Force of Will or taking out Days is totally fine against elves, typically because like they can usually make the extra mana, or they can play around it, or whatever. Days only really has value on the play in the matchup, and you have to get lucky that I don't have an early Shepherd. So Force of Will is a little bit more. It's a little sketchier to cut because it's a hard counter, so it can just stop a glimpse or stop a natural order. But I understand like your hesitation because Allosaurus Shepherd exists, so Force of Will may be completely nullified. But if you can get rid of that Allosaurus Shepherd, then Force of Will still has value in stopping the cards that just absolutely kill you on the spot.
All right. Well, there you go. I don't see any more questions, but I want to thank those who did chime in for chiming in. This is the end of segment number one, and this brings me up to my announcement. For those who aren't aware, this is episode number 74, but episode 75 is coming up December 22nd. If I'm going to have a special guest, another special guest, and it's going to be December 28th, 8 p.m. I'm going to do it just like this episode on YouTube. I'm having Nikachu MTG on the show. This is a modern master. He's a merfolk master. He's my senpai, my sensei. He's the Maharaji. I'm modern, I can say. So I'm pleased and thrilled to have him on the show. And I ask anybody who's watching or listening to this episode, come and join us December 22nd, 8 p.m. on YouTube. And, if you have questions for him, just bring them along and we'll share that. I hopefully you'll join in too, uh, Testacular and watching the show.
Yeah, the 22nd. I hope to join in and check that out.
You might
Nikachu.
be getting out of work just around that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll be there.
So now it's time for segment numero dos. It's the shout out section where I'm looking for the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. Now, if you didn't make it, that's all right. Have no fear, have no worry. You'll still be there. We will still be rooting for you no matter what. Just keep on doing it. Testacular doesn't matter. We'll be rooting for you, right, Testacular?
Yep,
We no
absolutely.
matter what it is, we always want people to succeed and be the best of the best.
100%. That's
All
what
right,
we're
now
here for.
there you go. Now it's kind of funny. I'm going to start off in Legacy. This gentleman, December 11th, 5-0 with an Azorius build, Utopia Mycon. So, ladies and gentlemen, Douglas Rosa's here. He proved that he went 5-0. We got Utopia Mycon in Legacy. So, ladies and gentlemen, spirits can win in Legacy. And, thanks to, you know, great advice here from Testacular, maybe we can beat elves too. Just saying. And if you're an elves player, thank you for kicking our ass. But we're learning. We're learning. Now in
Exactly.
historic, December 8th, first place, I was an Azorius player, and he was a mythic, platinum mythic rank player. I don't know who you are. Watsy doesn't allow us to know who you are, but if you're listening to the show, congratulations. Now, Pioneer, sweet baby Jesus. Let me just tell you, Spirits, Testacular. Have you played, Pioneer Spirits?
I actually have played the Azorius Pioneer Spirits lists a few times in challenges. Not to any great results, but I had a lot of fun playing the games. So
Yo, let me just tell you, Pioneer Spirits. I don't know who's playing this, but people are kicking ass. Me personally, like, there's four tribes right now that are doing well. It's not tribes, but versions of the spirits, which is the Bant, the Azorius, the Simic, and Mono Blue. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Mono Blue.
oh
Love the
wow,
Mono Blue. But people are just playing the crap out of spirits, and I love this. I truly love that.
that's
So
awesome.
hopefully we get to cheer you up one day when you 5-0, within a Pioneer Spirits, because they don't
Yeah,
have.
I'll have to get back into the deck still. But yeah, it was fun.
Do they have Pioneer Elves? Just out of curiosity.
Not that I know of. I don't think Elves is has a hat has a has a horse in that race. I
Come
guess
to the dark
that
side.
that.
Come to the dark side. Just telling you, it's everything's better over here. Just saying.
Yeah,
Now
we'll
let me
see.
get let me get to my Pioneer people. December 9th, 5-0 with a mono blue build. Hiro Tsusuke. Tsusuke. Hiro Tsusuke. Another 5-0 Bant finish. Sobre Magic. December 10th, 5-0 finish with a mono blue snow build. Suka Kayaturo. Wow, look at this. I'm pronouncing Japanese pretty good over here.
Yeah.
December 11th Bant. First place finish. Giuseppe Missalani. Okay, that one's Italian. I'm assuming this gentleman's Italian. Giuseppe Missalani. December 12th, first place finish. Mono Blue Snow. Yamamoko Shusuki. And then another Mono Blue Snow build the same day. Kasai Ryota. Ryota. Oh, Kasai Ryota. Okay, now I'm screwing up the Japanese. December 13th, first place Bant, Tisukokoi. Tisukokoi. Now 5-0 Mono Blue. Season Herb. That's a unique one. And then Douglas, my friend, 5-0 Bant Rosa 1993, which is Douglas Rosa from Brazil. And then finally, modern, December 14th, 5-0 with a band finish, Dr. Queller. So, with all those people, thank you for kicking ass with spirits. And I'm be your number one cheerleader. And Testacular is on the side going, you're not playing elves. Oh.
Hooray for you, though.
Yeah, hey, yay, high five, standing O, It's like, cheering on the new Spider-Man movie without spoiling anything. Like, whoa!
I'm going on Tuesday. Don't you say a word.
I'm not saying anything. All I will tell you is the movie was better than I thought it would be, and my standards were exceptionally high. And
Oh wow.
I went and saw Thursday, and thank you, sweet baby Jesus, that I did, because I see med spoilers all over YouTube and all of these places.
Yeah.
And
Internet's a dangerous place right now
oh,
for
stay
me.
off the internet. Besides watching this show, stay off the internet. So, with
Yeah.
that being said, is there anything else you want to share with the listening audience and viewing audience right now on YouTube?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all of those who support me by showing up on my stream and hanging out on Twitter and whatnot. I want to thank the people I play test with, Ben Nash, you remember, of course, and my friends Adam Brown. Uh, Lachlan McIntosh, a couple other people that in that area, that group of people, Forrest Ashmore, and then yeah, the Portland Legacy scene. Love you guys. Thanks for watching and tuning in and stuff. And yeah, And also, I want to. I told my Valorant crew I'd call them out too. I want to thank my Valorant crew who have been there forever for me, so that we shoot people and not play anything related to Magic whatsoever. But I want to thank you for my success in Magic. And yeah, that's it.
All right, there you go. That's his shout outs. And you know what? That's awesome. I thank you, Testacular, for joining us on this show again. I enjoyed having you on the first time. I am enjoying having you on a second time. Hopefully, we can make this a continual thing. Hopefully, yeah, pick up the Pioneer deck and kick ass.
All right, I'll
I'm
try.
gonna
I'll
start
try
shooting.
it. I might try it.
All right, see, there you go. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone, you, the listening audience, and joining us officially for the first time live on YouTube. We're going to try to make this a continuous thing. And thank you once again to Secular for being on the show. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, then next time you sit there and you're kicking your opponent's ass, make sure they say, "That's bullshit. I'm out of here."